Jenks Aquarium Authority. Today is Tuesday, October 19th. It is 5:00 p.m. Mr. Macy, will you please verify our attendance?
OJ?
Here.
Bonds? Montgomery? Here. Caitlin?
Here.
Murray? Here. Rowe? Here. Chair Box?
Here, record reflect that Mr. Bonds is absent this evening. Item number 1, consideration and appropriate action relating to a request for approval of consent agenda.
And Mayor, if I could request that item A be removed.
Did you say A and B or A?
A.
Okay, very well.
A be removed.
A, oh, B-E removed.
Yeah.
Very well. All right. Is there, my apologies, I thought for sure that was on, it is on Do Not Disturb. I don't know how that works. Okay, is there a motion to approve item 1 with the exception of letter A?
So moved. Second.
We have a proper motion, a second. Let's vote, please.
OJ?
Here. Yes.
Montgomery? Yes. Caitlin?
Yes.
Murray? Yes. Rowe? Yes. Chair Box?
Yes, discussion on letter A. You, Harvey, or
Well, Mayor, I
Shrout?
think just item 5 in the minutes where it says authorization to move forward with plan to purchase a carousel. I think it should say something to the effect of authorize staff to explore options related to the potential purchase of a carousel, something that's less kind of definite that we're moving forward with a plan to purchase and just exploring. So
Okay.
Brandon will change that and then forward that to the members of the JAA.
Very well. Something less definitive. Okay.
Yes.
Leave that to you. Okay, very well. Everyone satisfied?
Yes.
Okay. You can have a motion to approve the letter A
With the changes.
with the recommended changes by the general manager.
Obviously, second.
We have a proper motion, a second on letter A. Let's vote, please.
OJ?
Yes.
Montgomery? Yes. Caitlin? Murray? Yes. Rowe? Yes. Chair Box?
Yes. Item 2, consideration of appropriate action relating to item the consent agenda. And at this particular point, is that it for tonight? Okay, yeah, very well. Staff report. Mr. Alexopoulos. Good evening, sir.
You weren't here.
I was in the Jenks. I was in the Jenks.
So we're getting ready for Halloween. We're expecting some pretty big crowds this year. The zoo is doing reservation only, so we're going to have a certain amount of spillover anticipated. We are bringing back the inflatable pirate ship, so that's going to be That's always been a hit. And last year we didn't have it, and or the last time we had Halloween we didn't have it, and yeah, it was like, and we had some kids that weren't too happy, so we had it this year.
And how many nights are we doing?
We're doing a full week.
Okay.
So, yeah. And we've already received over $11,000 in paid sponsorships, and it's all but sure there's a main sponsor that we have now secured. It's a little early for me to mention who, but it's about a $15,000 sponsorship for it. So we're really excited about that. That's the most we've ever had for a main sponsorship that I'm aware of. That's pretty exciting. We have the candy already, and we got Shipley ready, so it's going to be a really good time. We'll have those VRs. We have the Halloween program. If y'all haven't gone on the VR with the Halloween program, you really should. It's amazing. It really is.
And we have, don't we have volunteers for every night?
Yeah, we're pretty well manned with volunteers and vendors, except for Halloween night. Imagine that. But believe it or not, Halloween night is usually a little bit slower than because people are kind of doing their own thing. But if anybody that their kids are grown or whatever, and you feel like handing out candy, sure could use it, that'd be great. Got plenty of candy, we just need some more hands handing it out. And we got these cool little skeleton hands. Last time I think we used tubes. So now we've moved up in the world and we got a skeleton arm that we're going to be using. Does anybody have any questions on Halloween? All right. We received approval for a $50,000 donation from the Opportunity Project for Fish Friends Scholarship Funds, which is amazing. Kudos to Ann and everybody involved with that.
I'm sorry, what organization provided that?
It's the Opportunity Project. It's and Ann, if Ann was here, she could go into great detail on what it is, but it's basically an organization for youth and for pursuing opportunities for children.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's exciting. And honestly, I mean, we've got to get as many kids in that aquarium and exposed to our education team as possible, because it's just imperative for us to see a brighter future when we have our kids educated about the ocean and our environment and things that are going on right now. Aquarium and city staff are working on a proposal for receipt of American Rescue Plan Act funding, and I know Ann and Robert have been working on that. Do you have any elaborate on that yet?
Well, I know that when we went on the Tulsa Chamber DC fly-in, I guess that was at the end of September, Ann went, and Terry Simonson, who is Tulsa County's employee responsible for all the ARPA funds, which have, at this point are tens of millions of dollars. Ann and Terry talked, and Terry said it'd be a good idea. He thought it'd be a good idea to come visit the aquarium, and so he came by the aquarium, I believe, last Wednesday, and took a tour and kind of talked about the potential uses for ARPA funds and where Tulsa County is and allocating those funds. And he was saying, I believe, that he thought that our air units, which I think we have like 20 different air units, some of those air units would be eligible, and he would recommend that we would apply if any of those need to be replaced, which I know that some of them, probably do. But those cost as much as $50,000 or more, and so if we applied for those, we could potentially be a good candidate. I know that Ann talked to him about the roof, which we know needs work, and then overall, the state also has an application process for funding, and one of the areas that money is available is tourism. So even though the legislature just passed the bill that will allow us to keep the state sales tax, I think that there is an opportunity to potentially apply for funds for tourism-related dollars from the state as well. So I think Ann and Robert are, certainly Ann is really exploring our options there, and so we're optimistic that we'll be able to get some of that funding.
Yeah, it's exciting. That'd be a game changer for sure. Education surpassed his Q1 goal. The goal was 25,000, and they surpassed it with 41,000. I think that's amazing. Our annual volunteer banquet is scheduled for November 18th. Everybody's invited. It's always a good time. We have food and drink, and we hand out various awards for volunteers and their hours. It's a worthwhile cause for sure. We really couldn't function very well without them. The new Amazing Invertebrates remodel is near completion. It's looking amazing. I just showed Chris, so he thought it was pretty neat.
It really is. I mean, the size of the tanks and everything, it's pretty impressive. And I think all the animals are in except for the nettles.
Yeah, the nettles, we have some test animals in there that we put in today because you have to calibrate the flow on jellyfish tanks to make sure. I mean, you can use a plastic bag, but it's just never as good as an actual jellyfish. So we picked out 3 of our ugliest jellyfish and put them in there, and so they're we're watching them, and it looks pretty dead on. if the flow's not right, they can bunch up in a corner, they can get tangled up, or they can get abrasions and things like that. So before we put our real nice ones in, you gotta get that flow calibrated. It pretty much is right now, so I was talking to the team and they're pretty confident that it's set and ready to go. So we're looking, if all goes well, in about a week, it should open. Like Chris was saying, the tanks have animals in them. The clownfish tank is just amazing. I mean, it's done. If it doesn't even improve from here, it is done. It is really. We have 400 clownfish and over 100 anemones in there. They're already starting to reproduce. It's just a beautiful tank. We have our upside down jellyfish. They're doing great in there, and we have our Palau jellyfish. So it's really pretty. The walls are complete and painted. They're finishing the little steps for the kids. The windowsills are done. Obviously, the filtration and all the mechanics and life support is complete. The artwork is done and sent to the printer. So that's what we're really waiting on, is the printer to get all the vinyls printed and installed. And then the graphics are also complete. Really, it's going to be a great exhibit.
The cafe looked amazing too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we remodeled the cafe. We're continuing to remodel the cafe. We took another big step forward and we repainted it. It's a like an aquamarine blue, but it's really pretty. It makes you feel like you're in the islands. So it's like a beach house. It's much brighter. We're splashing light, different colors on the walls, and we're in the process of, we hung our original artwork, which is really intended for that color, not the dark blue that it was setting on, and we ordered 33 new table and chair sets, and they're great. They're metal, but they're like have enamel, and they're different colors. They're really fun. And I was at Peacemakers eating the other day, and realized I was sitting on one of those chairs, and I looked around, and they were all the same chairs in different colors, and also at a smoothie place in Tulsa Hills. So it's weird that whenever you look into something, then you start noticing it everywhere. I'm starting to look at chairs everywhere, but they should be coming in, and they'll really match well. And we have the storage room has been complete, so we now have an actual storage room for the cafe team, and then we have a bar, and we have got bar stools coming, and then the bar has charging ports for your phones. So we're really moving up in the world in the cafe. All right. We had a flag ceremony with the Boy Scouts of America to retire our American flag from our new flagpole. It looks like they're lasting about 6 months per flag. But it was great. We had it last night right at sunset. And I got some really neat video of it, and they were playing taps, and the Boy Scouts, they were just, it was great to watch those young kids, and the whole, I've actually never been to a flag retirement ceremony. Mayor, I'm sure you've been to at least one or two, 50. But you would have loved it. It's pretty neat. And so we have our new flag up now. And the 2021 annual report is complete. We're just reviewing it, and then it's going to be sent to print. Representatives from the Aquarium Council, like Chris said, went to DC. And we're still exploring, obviously, the various costs for the carousel. It's actually, we're going to bid on Tuesday. So next Tuesday, and so we're really curious to see what prices come in at, and that'll kind of get us, exactly what to expect on the cost of this thing. So we sent it to one company, and then another one's coming, another major carousel company we're going to be sending it to. The shark quarantine is ongoing. We're Greg's in the process of getting the drawings complete, but we had a meeting recently and we're kind of going over the whole site plan, and we're kind of exploring a possible second location for it instead of the original location that we've been looking at, and seeing if that would make more sense. So I wouldn't say it's put us back, but we want to make sure that wherever we build it is in the right spot, and we're not taking up access or space that would be better served for us in the future as far as expanding our commercial areas and you know, for things for restaurants or that kind of venues. And the new director of the Gathering Place, Julio Badin, is going to be visiting tomorrow, so that's exciting. We had a really good relationship with the Gathering Place, and so it's nice to get to know the new director. And then Kevin Hearn is visiting on November 8th.
He's coming back.
He's coming back, that's right. He liked it that much.
So
yeah,
Kenny, is he coming with his family or his staff?
I think he's coming with staff, isn't he? Or
No, he said he's bringing like 15 people.
Yeah.
Like I think, yeah, I don't know if it's staff or family or both.
Might be both. And then this quarter's revenue is really exciting. We're ahead of last year by 30%, which roughly 30%, which is incredible. So every year that we brag on our revenue, I kind of worry like, well, it's going to be hard to beat next year, but so far we've been doing pretty well. And I think we're going to hopefully add some things in the near future that'll make it even better. And then we're also exploring what our next living exhibit project might be, and when we think it'd be appropriate time to tackle it, but we're wanting to have people touch jellyfish, so that might be the next one. So there's not too many jellyfish touching exhibits out there. They're just starting, so it's kind of, you know, we're kind of, if we get one in the next couple of years, we'll be ahead. There's only, I think, 4 of them out there. So, and we have the moon jellies, which is really neat. They don't sting, obviously. So, yeah, you don't want to put the wrong ones in. They'll be next to the electric eel touching.
Electric eel touch tank.
Which I have done, by the way. I think we discussed this already. But so yeah, so we're going to be looking into that and possibly doing weedy sea dragons. And I don't know if y'all know what that is, but they're a seahorse species, and they're the second largest. They get about that big, and they're covered with what looks like weeds, but it's actually their fins. And it's a cryptic thing for hiding. They live in cooler waters towards Australia.
Do you know, I think Ann had said last week she was going to meet with River Spirit Casino. Did she mention anything about that?
Oh yeah. I just think we may need to wait just a little bit before we.
On the sponsorship thing,
Yeah.
potentially, because you know, I would imagine they brought up that they're having the Miss USA pageant there in November,
Yeah.
and so I don't know if Ann talked to them about cross promotional.
They've definitely been talking about cross-promotion, but I don't know if specifically the Miss USA, but yes, they have. So River Spirit, you know, we've had a really good relationship with them, and you know, they've partnered with us for the Sharklahoma for the shark dive and providing rooms and that kind of thing. And then during the flood, we brought them sandbags and things like that. We helped them out, so it's a pretty good relationship, and so you know, having them as a pretty solid potential sponsor is exciting. Doing some cross promotion.
Yeah, and you might ask Ann about the Miss USA,
Yeah,
since there are going to
absolutely.
be so many people coming into town.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Does anybody have any questions?
How many Salesforce licenses did you acquire?
What's that?
The Salesforce licensing, how many licenses did you acquire?
I do not know. Do you know
I
that?
think we have up to
One with up to
15 different users.
So did you get enterprise or?
We got the marketing cloud.
Mhm.
Kind of, that includes Social Studio and
Octopus,
marketing.
how's it
So
fare?
those two pieces.
Bigger, smaller?
Do you have any prior
He's
experience?
smaller, we always
with,
get him,
Salesforce?
they're much smaller usually.
Our new marketing,
He's
Ollie?
acclimating right now,
Ollie,
so he's
yeah.
getting a little bit stressed. So we're having to black out the tank, so that he doesn't see the visitors right now. So,
Banquet.
Yeah.
you know, the size is hard to say in the wild. There's a lot of factors. But we think he's probably about a year or so old. But it's hard to say, because
My question.
it depends on food and all kinds of things, on their
My
rate
question wasn't this.
of growth, so it's not necessarily indicative. Once we have them, obviously, we know how old they are, but when we get them, but they're usually about that size, at least a year old. So, yeah, absolutely. And then, yeah, speaking of Salesforce, we're having staff training right now, Salesforce. And Lolly, our new marketing and digital specialist, she's pretty versed in Salesforce already, which is great. So that helps a lot. So we're not just starting green, and that's been a big help with the staff. Any other questions? And then Mr. Montgomery fixed the leak on his koi pond. So we tackled that. Oh, he tackled that. Just kind of.
Yeah, you can appreciate their fun when they have leaks.
I was his consultant.
He helped.
I just wish I could have seen you with the dive gear and your koi pond. That would have been great. Any other questions? All right.
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from the trustees before we consider adjournment? Very open.
T-shirts.
Yeah, thank you for
What's that?
Thank you for the shirt.
T-shirts.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on adjournment. We can vote, please.
OJ,
Yes.
Montgomery,
Yes.
Kaylin,
Yes.
Rowe,
Yes.
Chairbox.
Yes, we are adjourned at 5:23. Thank you very much.
Brandy?